Today, I want to talk about how some key FTD data in both GameStop and AMC is missing. I also want to talk about how the SEC is actually assisting these illegal abusive shorts. So stay tuned and let's make some money. But now I'll dive straight in with the key information. So, Peruvian Bull tweeted saying, why does the GameStop FTD data omit June 10th and June 11th, when Roaring Kitty bought all of his shares and when we had some of the highest volume days? So you can see this is the full FTD data for the second half of May, the first half and the second half of June as well. Throughout the month, we do see some fairly large FTD days where we see over 250,000 FTDs on GameStop with a notional value over $10 million. But you can see, especially around here, there's a few key days that are missing. We've got the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th of June, which is the first week of June. But then we don't have the 10th or the 11th, but we do have the 12th, 13th and 14th. Okay, we're missing the Monday and Tuesday of the second week of June, days that were trading days where Roaring Kitty bought shares and tons of shares were traded. As I said, I believe it's due to how the SEC is actually trying to assist short sellers. As 741 Trey tweeted, he said it looks like the SEC is going with the naked short selling is healthy approach. He said while abusive naked short selling is still definitely illegal, there remains one slight loophole, which is that abusive naked short selling isn't defined in federal securities law. So it says here that naked short selling is not necessarily a violation of federal securities laws or the Commission's rules, and in certain circumstances, naked short selling actually contributes to market liquidity. It says, for instance, market makers engaged in bona fide market making activities do not have to locate stock before short selling because they need to be able to provide liquidity to the market. So basically the SEC is completely contradicting themselves on purpose because they say while you can't short sell a stock without having that stock available for delivery and intentionally failing to deliver on the stock, you actually can do that if you're a market maker. Now, this is something I've touched on before because there's definitely a line between short selling for liquidity purposes and abusive naked short selling to destroy American companies and to attempt to bankrupt retail investors. I think these market makers absolutely cross that line, and I'm sure everyone else does as well, but obviously the SEC is effectively assisting them in crossing that line by not defining the line. And it seems the SEC is assisting these shorts even further by allowing them to recreate those tokenized securities. You can see this article talks about new tokenized securities on Microsoft, Tesla, GameStop, Nvidia and other stocks that have just been launched by a company called Bakkt on the 16th of July 2024. It says the tokenization protocol Bakkt has listed a new range of tokenized equities backed one-to-one by stocks of some of the world's largest companies. This is the exact thing that effectively bankrupted FTX, or at least helped to bankrupt FTX, and yet another company is being allowed to do the exact same thing. But Samuel Clemens has done some interesting digging and has found that physical delivery of the underlying securities is actually excluded in their terms and conditions. So you can see the final terms for the Bakkt GameStop tokenized securities. It says that physical delivery of the underlying securities is excluded, and investors' interests are settled in fiat currency and or cryptocurrencies in the event of a redemption or termination. Literally saying that even though these securities are backed one-to-one, you actually can't get the securities. I also wanted to go through today's quick little 10-minute trade on ONCO for a cool 25% that I alerted before the breakout even happened. You can see right back in the pre-market, right here in fact, I posted saying the first stock I'm watching today is ONCO. I've set my price alerts to buy the breakout at 27.8 cents per share. And then when the market opened, it got that 27.8 cents per share breakout. We bought in and rode the stock up to 35 cents per share for a cool 25% gain. Arif managed to lock in a cool $1,300 on Onco. Best shot sold for a 30% gain, his first ever trade in the group, and he made some real money. And Zep also locked in a cool 15%. So guys, if you want these kind of daily gains, even paying off your entire lifetime membership in your very first trade in the group, be sure to join the Millionaire Mindset Trading Group using the link in the description below. And as Peruvian Bull has added, he said that Americans can't even access the issuer's tokenization page on their website, saying that none of BACT's tokenized products are registered under the US Securities Act of 1933, which means all trading and backing is done via offshore entities, which smells like FTX 2.0. So it seems like these securities aren't even registered, they're all being held overseas, and yet hedge funds are likely still going to abuse these tokenized securities, but they don't have to disclose them because it will be done by overseas entities. I imagine we'll see, or technically won't see, the overseas entities of companies like Citadel shorting these overseas tokenized securities. But as I said, obviously we technically won't see that because that information doesn't have to be disclosed as it's overseas. And Dade Murphy has also tweeted about yet another separate fund that's issuing a prospectus outlining their desires for another 1x short AMC ETF, saying either these funds are incredibly pessimistic, knowing something the vast majority don't know, or likely have jumped atop the bandwagon with others who learn to game the system to take advantage of a feeble SEC. Or more specifically are working with the SEC to just assist short sellers further. It really seems these short sellers more and more over the last few weeks are doing anything they can more than ever before to try and push the prices down of both GameStop and AMC, but it's not working. I also wanted to talk about something a little different, still on the lines of illegal shorting, but this time in ticker symbol DJT. Wise Guys tweeted saying, breaking news. Who knew that hit was coming? Saying DJT shorts skyrocketed the week before Trump's recent encounter. He said, follow the shorts. DJT shorts went from 7 million to 15 million, doubled over the few days between July 1st to July 12th. Clearly someone or some people thought the price of DJT would absolutely plummet, with shorts doubling over a short space of time. It wasn't due to a short squeeze in the price of DJT stock, with more shorts jumping on after the squeeze. In fact, actually the price was steadily trending downwards, you can see with this red line. So even though the price was steadily trending downwards, the shorts absolutely skyrocketed. Now, Josh also added saying a company called Austin Private Wealth LLC shorted 12 million shares of DJT via a put option. The filing date was July 12th, the day before Trump's recent encounter. Obviously, I can't use the real word on YouTube. He said they've got around $1 billion in assets under management, and this is by far their largest put position placed. And now that company, Austin Private Wealth, just a few days later, has filed this filing saying an error occurred and the put position never really happened, which just brings more attention to the situation and makes things even more fishy. They could have owned it and said, yep, we got lucky timing with a lucky position, but instead they've tried to backtrack and say that they never even placed the position in the first place. I, for one, find it very interesting and very fishy how days before big events there always seems to be someone that knows something. If you follow Unusual Whales on Twitter, you'll know there's always someone that luckily has a call or a put position on a stock that doubles or triples overnight, just as big news is released. I thought insider trading was supposed to be illegal, but maybe insider trading is only illegal for me and not for other people. So guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.